I'm gonna start letting people in. So you're over in California, huh?
Yep. Yeah, just for
Getting
we'll
out of the
probably go
Arizona
back this
heat?
weekend. Yeah, also just out of my apartment. I'm so sick of, where I live. Needed to get out for a second.
Uh, yeah, this quarantine COVID kind of staying close to home's gotten a little monotonous. Me too. I'm
Yeah.
in desperate need of like some beaches and some sand and some beverages with little umbrellas on them. Way, way overdue.
Yeah.
So hopefully soon. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us this lovely overcast and rainy Friday morning here in Arizona. Um, let's go ahead and get started. I see some familiar faces, but I think I see some new faces too, which is always exciting. For the new faces, I'll do a quick introduction. Most folks here already know who we are. I'll go ahead and kick off. My name's Kirk Brewer. I'm the branch manager for Finance of America Mortgage in Chandler, Arizona. I have been doing mortgages. It's crazy to think about. I've been doing mortgages now for, it'll be 20 years in June. Which is crazy because this isn't my first career. That's where the Loan Geek thing comes from my previous when I was in the nuclear industry. So 20 years will be under my belt. I've seen a lot in those 20 years, but we're getting ready for some new stuff, I think, to come about too, which we'll probably be talking a lot this year in these meetings. So let me turn it over to Shane for a quick introduction.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kirk. And I find it remarkable that you've been doing loans that long when you're only 25.
I know, right?
You start when you were in grade school. That's awesome.
Diapers.
Good.
But
Good
he
for
was in
you. Good for
nuclear
you.
first, so.
I feel the same way. My name is Shane Sauer. For those who don't know, I think all of you kind of do, but I am sales manager here at Greystone Title Agency. Been working with Kirk for years now. And I didn't start in grade school. I did get into this again, second career. It always is, right? But I've been in title and escrow for now, what, 15 years, something like that. Yeah, that's crazy.
So you're close. Junior high school.
Yep. Yeah. Seventh grade. But never too early to get a good jump on things. But been an interesting ride, and as you all have been in it, as long as you've been doing real estate, I know we've all been on a wild roller coaster for a number of years, and it's all made us stronger.
Well, it makes for a reason to wake up every morning and come to work and see what else is going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Well, and let's make one more introduction for the new folks here. We have a routine. Well, it's not fair to call Emma routine. We have a guest that is with us on a regular basis, typically a couple times a month. And today is one of those days where Emma Totten is with us, and I'll let Emma do a quick introduction for herself before we kick this off.
Yeah. So I did not start as anything as fancy as nuclear anything. I have been doing digital marketing since I was out of college. And so I have been in this world for quite a while. I fell into the remodel social stuff because we noticed a need for affordable, high quality content for people with small businesses like real estate agents. So that is who we're working with. I know we have some of our customers in the audience today, but for those of you who do not know me, I'm a good resource if you want any help with your Facebook business page. And so every time I'm on here, I talk about something new going on with Facebook because there's always something new. And we go through changes and what you want to be keeping an eye out for and that kind of stuff. So yeah, if you need a resource for Facebook, anything, just let me know.
Awesome. Thanks, Emma. Yeah. We'll get Emma in here a little bit later in our meeting here, and she's always got some great tips for us to help us refine and improve our social media. I know over the last year that, well, it's 7+ months now that we've been doing these. And it goes even further back when we had you in the physical classes. Yeah, I've learned a ton, and every time it just keeps adding to my knowledge base. So hugely appreciative of you sharing that knowledge with us. Let's go ahead and jump right into rates. Every Friday morning, I like to bring everybody kind of up to speed with what rates are doing. There's nothing super exciting going on in the rate realm right now, but I will still keep you guys up to speed simply because I think it's very important that you can see things trending as I'm seeing things trending. We're good to go on the screen share. So if you go out to our website, loangeeks.com or the Loan Geeks, either way, that'll get you to our website. This is our homepage, and there's a ton of resources out here for you guys as real estate agents and your clients as well. There's really good information for how to go through the home purchase process. Gives them a lot of details about different kinds of home loans that are available to them and what might be the best fit for them. But ultimately, and we've got a lot of really good calculators that they can use that are very helpful as well. Because you get those clients like me that were, numbers nerd people, and they really like to, know what their numbers are going to be, and they keep working them over and over and over again as they're looking for homes. So we've got some great calculators out there too. But when it comes to brass tacks, what everybody really wants to know about is where are interest rates? What are interest rates, right? You guys are always getting those questions. I'm always getting those questions. So this page is a great resource for them and for you guys. If you just want to pop in on a regular basis and just, in between these meetings, see what's going on with rates. Our rates are updated on the site daily, at least once a day. I do them personally. It's not an automated process. It's done manually. So I'm literally going in and checking rates and updating the site every morning, typically over my morning coffee. That's what I'm doing on the other 4 days of the week versus being here. And another thing that I wanted to point out, I don't typically spend this much time on the homepage, but there's 2 links, one here and one here. And they're strewn throughout the site where if they click on those links, that'll literally take them to our online application where your clients, if they need to get pre-qualified, you can send them straight here. It could be midnight and they can go pop on and then get started on their application. It's a very thorough process. It gives them the document needs list when they're done with the process. And then I can come in, if they're doing it at midnight, I can come in at 7 or 7:30 in the morning with my morning coffee and see that they came in and they started an application and we can get rolling on their pre-qualification. So that is very helpful as well. But if you go ahead and click on the rate link here or some of the other places on the site, that's going to take you to our rate page, which is here. And let me see if I can increase the size of that. No, it doesn't like it while it's on screen share. So we'll go over the actual rates real quick and then just kind of summarize. But starting with the 15-year fixed conventional Fannie Freddie, we're still hanging out here at the low at 2.375, and that's at par with 0 points. So we've been bouncing between 2.5 and 2 3/8. With 30-year fixed conventional, right now we're sitting right on that 2.875. We've been just bouncing right there between 3 and 2 7/8. And then on your govies, on your FHA and your VA, if you guys been with us and seen how things have evolved since COVID hit and the CARES Act, you'll know that these government loan rates are back in line with their historical norms relative to conventionals. We're sitting right at 2.75%. And that's at par. That premium pricing that we have been talking about for months has gone away on those loans. So the only points you'll see now on those loans are like the upfront MIP on the FHA or the VA funding fee, which is the standard points for those programs. And then last but not least, on the jumbos, we have seen since the kind of the political stuff has gone down with the election and heading into the inauguration that we've seen jumbos pop back up with some additional premium pricing in those. And that has to do with, I think, some market uncertainty that we've been experiencing due to policy changes with a new administration and people not knowing quite where things are going to go. And so that's kind of what I want to touch on real quick before I hand it back over to Shane. which is, we've been bouncing right down here at the lows. We've come off of them a little bit, maybe an eighth, maybe a quarter and some, on one day, but then we bounce right back down. And we've just been hovering here at these lows. And there's been upward pressure, but we haven't seen it as an extended, rates haven't picked a direction yet. They've been waiting for the election. Then after the election, they've been waiting for the inauguration. When politicians run, right, they say one thing, and then ultimately when they get in office, a lot of times they do another thing. And so now that the Biden administration is in office, and they're starting to kind of, show their hand, what they're going to be doing, rates are going to, over the course of the next few weeks, we should be having discussions about it. It looks like rates have picked a direction. Market has picked a direction. As I touched on last week, I tend to believe we're in for a little rise in rates. It may not be long-term and it may not be a ton, but inflation is the enemy of interest rates in general, in bonds in general, because people who invest in bonds, they're looking for a long-term return, the yield on the bond. If inflation is rising, their margin, the profit they make on that yield is less. So inflation is the enemy of bonds, and we're going to see inflation with the policies that are going to be in effect. I mean, we already saw it on Inauguration Day. Biden signed an executive order canceling the XL pipeline. Well, gas prices are going to go up. That's inflation. So we're going to see it. It's coming. So it'll be interesting over the course of the next few weeks to continue these discussions and see how the market eventually picks that direction. I think we're at a point now where we'll start to see it. So, Shane?
Yes.
How's it going in your world, my friend?
It's going, it's interesting. Let's just go with that. That's the word of the day. I'm going to try to use it 5 more times. This is the first. So, been a really, it's been an interesting start to the year. I know you kind of were talking a little bit about that, and it's been a little more quiet than I would have expected, but it's kind of feels like a normal January. I mean, to be honest, and I know there was with the unrest, with all the political stuff, I'm sure that has some impact on what we're seeing out there, and people are on the fence with a lot of stuff. But I got a couple things to say, but I want to get into this inventory pricing thing that I like to touch on. So let me get on with that real quick here. Let me share my screen. So for those that don't get this report, this is another great chance for you to get it. Let me know if I can help you with this thing. There's no cost. Any city, any zip code really in Arizona, not Maricopa County only, in Arizona. If you're marketing anywhere, I can help you with these things. But one thing I do want to shed some light on is the fact that, we're of course seeing list prices going up, rents as well. And I had this discussion with a couple people this week actually about rental prices just going through the ceiling, as we all know, and that's everywhere. But median rent in Chandler right now sitting at $2,100, which is substantial. But these are really cool. Give you a little buyer seller index, little slide chart on here online like this. You can kind of play with it and kind of, really use this thing for all of its value. When it's printed out, obviously you can't do these cool things. But you've got drop downs here, so you can look at all kinds of different stuff. Inventory, you can see where that's at if you needed a reminder. You can see what happened last week in Chandler. This is always measuring the week prior. So new inventory was what's been sold last week in Chandler. But I've broken this down, and I know a lot of you have seen this, so I want to kind of show it to you and kind of talk about this guy for a little bit. Let me see if I can do it. Probably not. You probably can't see that, I'm going to guess. No. Can you see the Valley stats? You can. Okay, cool. It worked. I don't know how I did it, but it worked. I've been working with Zoom for, it seems like ever now, and I'm still finding out new things. It's cool. But what I wanted to kind of talk about on this thing, and for those that have been on this Friday show before, I've seen this, and I've been doing this thing really since September. So it's kind of neat to kind of watch the numbers change. But what I did notice this week when I put this thing together, and this is culled from those that Altos report you just saw. So I get those things on Mondays, and I kind of put this little guy together Monday mornings to try to get it out to everybody. I know I've got an ever-growing list for this little report, so that's awesome, and I'm happy that people can use it. But what I did notice this week is inventory levels still going down. I mean, obviously you can see a lot of red here in the valley, but not to the degree that I had been seeing it. So it looks like it's slowed up just a little bit, which is interesting. Is because I'm looking at average days on market, and that's mostly downward. I mean, mostly there's less days on market pretty much across the board. Looking at this, but Phoenix still took that minus 55 hit, and I'll tell you what, when I started doing this report, and I went back and looked in September, when I started putting this together, and the Phoenix inventory, according to the Altos reports and this information, was sitting at 1083. Today it's 760, or Monday it was 760. Scottsdale was at 1019. It's now at 599. So you can see dramatically, I mean, where this has come from. And all the cities, of course, are down, some more drastically than others. I know Mesa's taken a big hit. Some of the West Valley cities have taken a big hit, but it's kind of interesting to look at this and really over the long term, see what's really going on. What I've seen here, you got prices kind of all over the place, really dropping, increasing. We had a big drop in Fountain Hills, big increase in Gold Canyon, and they've been on the upswing for a little bit. The 90-day here, which we've added fairly recently, is more your telltale with median list prices, and then seeing where that's going over more of the long term. So you can use this report to really maybe scoop your clients into, hey, the prices seem to be going down here as far as up. You can kind of really use this in a lot of ways, I think, but it's really interesting information. I did put some of the outside the valley places, the second home destinations up here too, so you can kind of get a little glimpse of what's going on up north, where they're going to get snow this weekend, I'm told. So a lot of neat stuff here. But if you'd like this, let me know. I mean, I'd be more than happy to add you to the distribution list. There's, again, no cost to get this. It's something I put together because I find it interesting. I'm a numbers junkie, much like Kirk. I love looking at this stuff. I could sit and look at this all day long and be like, is there any more? It's like, it's kind of like that. But here's what I wanted to kind of talk about. So next week, we're going to have Mike Abel on, because what I've been hearing about of late, and I won't be long, I want to get to Emma and give her some good time to talk about some cool stuff. But so this came up a week ago. Talked to an agent, and I wasn't aware of this until I talked to this agent, and I've talked to another agent, more about how NAR is kind of putting the handcuffs on folks. It's almost, to me, it's a little censorshipy, but what you can say and what you can't say. And I'm going to get Mike Abel in here next week to kind of talk about that, kind of what you can and can't post, and almost what I saw yesterday, because Mike clued me into some things from straight down from NAR about really, harassing speech, hate speech, epithets. There's like a $15,000 fine for this stuff now, and it's really interesting how they've taken a stand on what you can and can't post or can say, or I'm like, how does that work? But we're kind of in that whole thing when we're hearing a lot about, I think, more censorship than anything else. And maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just my little brain thinking this. But as more Facebook stuff and people taking off Facebook, or things being taken off Facebook, and people going to Parler or MeWe or whatever, it's interesting, the world that we live in, and this does affect us right down to agent I talked to shared a comment from a client on Facebook, and it was, I think, politically charged because she is that way, and that's fine. But a client called her and reamed her out, said he's done working with her and he's going to report her. And I'm like, yeah, here we go. So interesting stuff. And I think Mike is like a kid with a sugar high when it comes to this stuff, and he will just go. So it should be a really interesting little meeting we have next Friday. I went right to the horse's mouth with this one, and he's going to let everyone have it.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. Your description of Mike when he gets his teeth into these topics is very colorful and inaccurate. It's an interesting topic, regardless of where you fall on any spectrums. When you start having one side making a subjective judgment on who can say what when, but then you get like NAR, right? None of you guys are employees of NAR. They certify you to operate within your profession, but technically that's the state, right? That's not NAR. You need NAR, I think, to have access to armless and NMLS, right? Those things. So it'll be really interesting to get Mike's take on where they really have a legal stand. And it's not just there, we're seeing it in quite a few.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm really interested. I know as a mortgage lender, I'm an employee of my company, and they can pretty much do anything they want to me if they so choose, if they don't like something I do on social media. And so I try and be very, mindful of what I post, but I'm human too, and I have my slip ups, and sometimes I have to, oh, I probably should have posted that and go delete it, or, just kind of do this and hope it doesn't become an issue. But I know my company's out there looking, and I think it's a topic that's timely, and we should probably all be mindful of, for no other reason than our clients look at this stuff too, right? And we don't necessarily want to alienate anybody who wants to do business with us. So
yeah, that's the thing. I had another conversation with a broker this week who really, she started talking about this thing too, and she's like, ultimately, whose responsibility is it? Is it the agents or is it the brokers? And I'm like, yeah, there you go. Because really, technically, I think brokers look over this stuff or are charged to look over. I don't know. I don't know where the rubber meets the road on that one. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
And Mike, if anybody wants, Mike printed out a whole bunch of stuff for me yesterday, and I saw him. He went digging right away, and like, oh yeah, here it is right here. And he laughed and thought, okay, yeah, I like to give him a direction and let him. He's like a dog looking for a bone. It's like, oh. And then he finds it. So should be interesting. I'm
always great to have Mike on. Mike is a wealth of knowledge, so that'll be fun.
Yeah,
really
should be.
Don't miss this coming next week. It should be exciting.
It's must see TV.
Yeah, that's a great segue to Emma with social media and posting and things we should and shouldn't be doing out there. What do you got for us this week, Emma?
Yeah, so as much as Facebook is dealing with right now, they are still throwing platform changes at us. So I just wanted to show you guys yet another thing that is changing in Facebook, because this is something that might affect people. And I just want to make sure everyone knows about it. And I don't know about everyone else, but I was, it's the wrong screen. Sorry. I was getting a bunch of notifications this whole week because I'm on a bunch of people's business pages. Hello, why do you keep doing this? Sorry, give me 1 second.
I'm glad it's not just me, Emma.
Yeah,
I don't know why it keeps like defaulting to that one, because that's not the one I'm clicking on. But yeah, so I've been getting a bunch of notifications this week because I'm on a bunch of business pages, and it's telling me the story is going away, the story is going away. So I just want everyone to know what that means, and if you need to panic or not. You probably don't, but so if you do have a business page, very possible that you got a notification like this one, that your page's story was going to go away. So this is just a section on Facebook that if you have loaded in a story, it used to show up all nice on the right-hand side of your business page. If you ever filled that out, it's going away. So by February 28th, this will be gone. So you have about a month to move this over. But I just wanted to show everyone, when you click on that notification, it's going to bring you into your story. And so this is where you're going to have everything you typed out. So if you put anything here, it'll be right here. If you don't see something here, then you don't need to worry about this at all. But if you do see something here, you want to just grab it and copy it, and then just go back into your main business page.
You did a Control C, I'm assuming there, my dear.
Yes, yeah, sorry, you guys can't see what I'm doing on my keyboard.
Well, and I don't want to take it for granted that maybe somebody doesn't understand. They can hit Control C to copy
Yes.
that into their clipboard.
Yeah, so we copy that, and then you just go into edit page info, and then you want to go all the way down past a lot of different stuff into additional information. And this is the place with the longest character limit. So that's why it's prompting me to put it in additional information, because it's a 10,000 character limit, whereas your about section is a 255 character limit. So you cannot jam as much stuff in your about section. That's why it's prompting you to go to this additional information thing. And so you can just paste it in here. And then as soon as you click out of this, it's going to save. So you can see it tells me changes have been saved. So don't worry about, oh, how do I save it? How do I make sure it applies? As soon as you put it in and then click out, it'll save it for you. So yeah, just keep an eye out for that. I'm sure you've gotten notifications if you do have something in your story section. So it is a good thing to check, because I know a lot of people put time into writing these. There's a lot of good information that you don't want to just disappear. So yeah, it's pretty easy. You just copy it from that first notification, paste it in your additional information. And if you get lost, if you need help, let me know. I do 30-minute complimentary consultations for Facebook. So if you have a question, if you're having issues with something or something like that, just let me know. And then also, one of the benefits of being a Remodel Social customer, which is my company that does Facebook business page posting, is that you get access to me at least once a week, if not more. And then you can always call, text, email me, and I can help you with this kind of stuff that just pops up from time to time. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's always going to be changes on Facebook. So it is good to have a resource for that. And yeah, that's what I have.
I don't know why they just can't leave it alone for a week or two.
I know, or like a month.
Changing it. And by the way, I'm going to give Emma a plug here as we get ready to wrap this thing up, and at least go into our Q&A if anybody's got any questions. A couple things. What is your lowest tier pricing plan for posting content for agents?
Yeah, so through Shane, you get a discount. So the prices start at $26 per month.
It's through Shane and Kirk, right?
Sure, yeah. It says Greystone, but I can get your name on there if you want.
Okay, good.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, it's just $26 per month, which is the 2 posts per week price. So 2 posts per week is the bare minimum we recommend. So if you just are not good about posting on Facebook, but you want to make sure there's content, that is a good place to start. And if you just totally want a hands-off approach, that's where I push people more towards the 4 posts per week, where there's a decent amount of posts going out, and then you don't have to worry about it.
And just to, I've worked with Emma before, so I kind of know where I can plug some of this stuff for her. Her content's actually local relevant content. It's not just cooking recipe, it's not generic stuff. It's very relevant to the communities that you guys work in. And you can give her all that specificity. The other thing you do, which is really cool, is you can revamp someone's page that maybe is dormant, stagnant, stale, and you have a cool service for that too. If somebody wants to refresh their page before they kick off, and maybe have you start putting posts on it. And what's that run?
Yes, so that is the page remodel, and that is a $99 flat fee, and that includes me designing a custom cover photo with your compliance logos on it. A lot of people don't realize that you need to have your compliance logos and your brokerage displayed prominently in your cover photo to comply with the one-click rule of social media. So I will create that for you. I will look through your page, make sure everything is looking good, and then yeah, you can kind of start from scratch with a brand new page, or I can help you update an existing one. So yeah, that's a good option for people. And then like you were saying, we do have the personalization questionnaire that people fill out once they have purchased from us, and you tell us the communities that you target, and our content writers live and work in those communities that they are writing about. So you end up with very local, very relevant content.
Cool. I always like to remind people of some of those things. We have you on here so often.
I know.
We'll get the tip and then we'll kind of move on, but it's nice to let people know your service is awesome and it's very, very affordable. If they're like me, I can barely find time to, eat lunch, more or less, throw a post out on social media. So
yeah.
great service you offer. Well, let's open it up for questions. Anybody got any questions this week? We're getting ready to wrap up the first month of the new year here shortly.
Crazy.
How's everything going in you guys' world? It's going awesome, right? Okay. Tons of listings.
Busy.
Busy's good. Awesome. Well, if nobody has any questions, I'll turn it over to Shane and let him take us out. I'd just like to personally remind everybody, I'm a mortgage lender. I love to take care of people when they're, buying or refinancing a home. So if you know anybody who can use my services, I've been doing this stuff 20 years. I'm pretty good at it. My company is a great company. We've got very competitive pricing. And my support team is insanely good. Our turn times, despite the big refinance boom, we're still holding all our turn times, and we're able to, get a normal 30-day close on a purchase done without any difficulty. So you guys should have all of my contact information from all of the stuff we send out to you, but you can always go to the loangeeks.com or loangeeks.com and find all my contact information there as well. Shane?
Yeah. Thanks,
Hey,
Kirk.
Quick question.
Hey, Raj, welcome. Good to see you, bud.
Hey, good to see you too. So what are the credit score requirements for FHA and conventional nowadays?
That's a great question, Raj, because, I know we talked about this when COVID hit, all of a sudden those lower end FICOs got pulled up, right? They wanted to make sure the credit quality was better when COVID hit, and maybe layoffs and things like that hit. We've seen those inch back down. I believe, don't quote me on this because I haven't looked at it in a while, Raj, but I believe things have pretty much been restored. So we can for sure go down to a 620 on, say, an FHA, which is normal. We typically can go all the way down to a 580 with a manual underwrite. And I will say right now, disclaimer, I'm not saying go find people down to 580. A manual underwrite is not a great way to go buy a house in this market, because they're going to need to be underwritten first before they put offers in and get that manual underwrite. Unlike if their FICO scores are higher, and we can go through the automated underwriting system and have a high quality pre-qual. But that being said, I believe they have restored the manual underwrite portion as well. Don't quote me on that though. I have to go look for you.
Okay, great. So about roughly 620 on FHA and roughly 580 if you decide to go manual underwriting.
Manual underwrite,
right?
but again, I'd have to double check on that. 620, I think you're safe there on an FHA. And then, typically, again, on your conventional, you typically can go down to 640, but if you're that low, you're typically going to get a better loan going FHA. So ideally for conventionally, we look for people to be over 660 on those, just because the pricing becomes very expensive compared to the FHA.
Got you. Thank you.
Oh, no, hey, that's why I'm here. I appreciate the question. Does anybody
else?
wrap up? Shane and I would love to answer your questions, and Emma too. I mean, that's why we have Emma here.
Well, definitely. And then we're, I'm actually in the office right now, knocking out some listing books, seeing a lot of open houses popping back up again. So if you need help with marketing, that kind of stuff, let me know. I mean, we're more than happy to help. I mean, that's what I do. So, and give a lot of kudos to Emma. I've turned a lot of people onto her for social media stuff. So let us know how we can help, most definitely. And tune in next week because you'll get the invites. I'll start sending them out. But anyone who's got the invites before you, you're going to get the link every week automatically. So don't feel you have to sign up when you get the blast. You're going to get it anyway. But Mike Abel should be interesting. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it myself. I don't think I'm going to be able to sleep.
No, Mike is fun.
Yeah.
He really is a good speaker.
Yeah.
And he's passionate about what he talks about.
He's our corporate counsel and VP over here at Greystone. It should be interesting next week. So we look forward to seeing you, and thanks for showing up today, and have a great weekend, everybody.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend, and we'll have more fun next week.
Yeah, happy Friday,
Call us
guys.
if you need us.
Yeah.
Thank you. You too.